Hey everyone, I just want to make a quick video to share my workflow for web development. I'm primarily a C++ programmer, that's my day job, and I'm a little bit out of my domain. So I recently came back to update my website after a few months, and I realized I forgot how to actually set this up correctly. So I'm making this video primarily for myself to review next time I decide to update my website in a year or two, but you guys could benefit from it too, I think, because it allows you to debug your website as if it were a desktop application. The first thing we do is open up a folder, and this is kind of like opening up a project in another IDE. I kind of think of this folder as the project. And for me, this is the Enigma tutorials folder. So that's my website's project folder. But this is VSCode, so it's not like an actual project. It's just a folder with some files in it. So to debug JavaScript, you need to be running a server. I discovered this handy extension called Live Server in VSCode, and it allows you to just right-click and boot a server and start using it from there. So this is the extension and where you can find it. I also think I needed this debugger for Chrome extension too, so the debugger can hook up with Chrome. And there's a Firefox one if you use Firefox. So I wrote a music tool, and I just had it stored in an index.html, but I have a lot of this lying around, so I changed the name. And so now I need to debug that and make sure that still works. So we just find our HTML file and right-click somewhere in the file and choose Open with Live Server. So now that we have a server running, let's debug it. So I'm going to just drop a random breakpoint somewhere in the JavaScript file and step through it. So now we need to go to the Debug tab, which you can get to with Control-Shift-D, or click the little bug. So there's this little gear icon we need to click to configure what we're going to debug. So this opens up a launch.json where we can define different things we like to debug. So you could have multiple projects here, for example. I believe the first time you open this, there's an example for you. If not, you can just copy what's on screen. So let's make a new run configuration for my music tool. I'm going to just copy and paste the one that's already there and update it. So since we only really changed the URL in this case, we can just grab that URL from our live server and paste it in the launch configuration. You probably also want to make sure your web root directory is configured like this. I set it to basically the folder that we opened. That way all the file paths just seem to work. And so we also want to give it a new name. And so there you have it. And don't forget to change your launch configuration to the new debug configuration we made. Just hit your debug keybind or click that little button to start it. We can now step through the code and inspect values, just like a desktop app. And don't forget to stop your live server. So I might as well show how I update my website too, because I forgot that also. So let's open up the index page for the site. Like we did for the music tool, we're going to start a live server here. This is mostly just to see that the changes I make are having an effect. So we can actually open up the live version of my site, and we can see the background. So right now this matches the live server. But we're going to make changes on locally and test it on the live server before we update it to the server on the internet. So let's go change the background of the site. In my CSS file, I have some commented out backgrounds that I would like to change to. So I'm going to just uncomment one and comment out the one that was there previously. And as soon as I save it, you can see that the live server page updates. Okay, so let's go to Git and check that in. I have a private repo on GitHub for this, so I'll just commit it and push it to my private repo. So now I want to update my actual website, which is not GitHub. GitHub is just a backup I have. So for updating the server, I use a website called Heroku, which is really convenient in that you can just push code to it like you're pushing to GitHub, and it'll update. So I'll clear screen to get rid of the GitHub stuff, and all we need to do is type git push Heroku master. And it will send that up to Heroku, and it's going to do some processing and eventually tell us that the server updated. So now that it's done updating, we can visit the site and see that the changes are there. So that's my workflow. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out the description for more information. See you later.